I'm Khyra Steiner, and you're listening to Elaborate with K. Elaborate with K. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elaborate with K. So this is a very special episode because it is coming out the week of my lovely, wonderful, amazing boyfriend Jordan's birthday. Happy 23rd birthday, Jordan. So yes, this is his birthday week, and in honor of that, I thought that I would give some unsolicited relationship advice this week. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so before we start, I can give you a little bit of information on my relationship, our relationship. We've been together for almost 3.5 years now. We met my freshman year in college and have been together ever since. And yeah, Jordan is also my first official relationship, our first relationship at all. I don't know why I said official, but first relationship. So this is advice from a 21-year-old college student in a 3-year-long relationship that has been throughout college. So yeah, let's get into my unsolicited advice. Okay. So the first piece of advice that I have about, relationships, getting into relationships, specifically if you're in college or in, your teens, late teens, early 20s, whatever it is, don't go looking for it. I think that it can be really hard to see people that and people that you're around, your classmates, your peers, looking like they're in these really happy relationships, and you're like, oh, I just want that. Don't go looking for it. I think that when you purposefully go looking for a relationship, that's when you will either settle for something that you don't really have, or it's not going to be as authentic as it could and as it should be. I think that, relationships happen. And I think that going and looking for it is also, you open up the possibility of like forcing something that you're not necessarily wholeheartedly into or interested in, just for the sake of being able to say that you are in a relationship. And truly, that's not how any good relationship should start. So definitely don't go looking for it. Don't force it. Let it happen naturally. The next piece of advice that I have is to be open and honest with your partner, whoever you're dating. Trust is one of the most important things in any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, family relationship, friendship, work. Like, trust is true. Roommates. Trust is one of the most important things, because if you can't trust someone, you're not going to want to spend your time with them. You're not going to want to do things with them, confide in them, and it's going to make it really, really hard for you to also get close with them. So I think that right off the bat, making sure that you're being open and honest, being open about what you want. If you're not looking for a long-term relationship, when you're starting it or when you're talking to someone, let them know. And yeah, it's not always like the easiest or the most fun conversation to have, but truly it's going to save you so much time and just hard conversations in the long run. Honestly, just being honest and setting yourself up for success, right? Because if you want different things, then it's not necessarily going to work out. So making sure that you're being open and honest from the get-go. You also you don't want to start a relationship off with lies and tricks. And I know it happens so much, like on TV shows, where they lie and they say something to try to get someone to be interested in them, or to get closer to someone, and truly clearly it never works out. It never works out in the TV shows. So it's not going to work out in person. But I think that no matter what it is, whether it's like a little thing or a big thing, don't lie. Just be honest. Even if you are really into someone who loves roller skating, if you have no idea how to skate, or you don't like skating, you don't like not being like directly on the ground, don't lie and say, oh my God, I love roller skating, because it might seem like a small thing, but at the end of the day, like, you're starting that relationship off with a lie. And when you're starting a relationship or you're getting into a relationship, you want them to like you and be interested in you, and to start this relationship because of who you are, not because of who they think that you are, because of some lie or fib that you told them. So make sure you're just being honest, open and honest from the get-go, it establishes trust, and it honestly, I think, strengthens your relationship. Another thing, I think this is really important for us too, being in college, being college students, you have classes, we have different schedules, we're busy, we're at different schools right now. So just making sure that you make time for each other, you know? And I think that it can be really hard when you are super busy and you're like, oh, I have so much that I need to do. Like, I have all these assignments, I have essays, whatever it is. But like, making time to spend time with each other, just making sure that you're spending time with each other is truly going to be the key and one of the most important things, I think, because it's easy to say that you're in a relationship, but you also have to put in the time and the effort into being in that relationship together, into seeing each other and making connections and talking, having conversations, making memories, all of this. So making sure that you're making time for each other, making time to see each other, to be with each other is truly important. So I know that me and my boyfriend, we would make Sundays our study days, and we would have like track meets on Saturday, so we were not really getting any homework done. We'd come back from a meet, have dinner, watch a movie, and we would chill out Saturday nights, and then Sundays we would book a study room in the library and just like work for a couple of hours. And it's obviously not the most fun thing, but we would make sure that we have like a fun lunch break and we like watch a TV show episode, and we would try to watch another movie later that day or finish a movie or whatever it is, but just making sure that you're making time to spend with each other, quality time with each other. It's important, just seeing them, being in their space if and when you can, truly, I think, is going to be so helpful for just remembering and like reforming that connection. This goes for any relationship and also just personally, but don't compare. Social media is huge nowadays. We have social media, we have so many TV shows and movies, and those are, first of all, movies and TV shows are not real stories. Okay, let's start there. So don't compare yourself to a fictional TV couple and their perfect meet cute and their perfect romance. It's written for you to enjoy and for you to watch and get entertainment from. It's not written for you to compare your life to. Okay, those fictional characters, do not compare yourself to them, but at the same time, don't compare yourself to other people, to other couples. It can be so easy to see other people and you're like, oh, they're doing this, they're on this trip, they're going to Disneyland, they're going here, they're going there, they're doing this. Okay, and you are on your own separate journey. Your relationship is completely different from theirs. So don't compare. It's not going to be healthy. It's not helpful, right? I can't compare my relationship to the celebrity couple that's my same age, because first, we are living two completely different lives. It's not going to help, right? So don't compare your relationship. Truly just take it for what it is, enjoy it, live in the moment, appreciate the moment and the memories that you're making in that relationship. Don't compare, don't worry about what other people in other relationships are doing. You have no idea what is actually happening behind the scenes. You can see their cute pictures and think that things were perfect, and they might be, or they might not be. You have no idea. But don't compare yourself or your relationship to the relationship of other people, because the only people that know exactly what's going on in any given relationship are the people that are a part of that relationship. And it's not going to be helpful for you to compare yourself to two random people who have been together for 3 months or 30 years if that's not your situation, right? Just don't compare. It's not good for it. The next thing that I have is to make sure that you are being yourself. And this kind of goes back into being open and honest from the beginning. Be yourself in your relationship. You want to be with someone that you can be your true, authentic self, whoever that is. You might have a different persona when you're at school or when you're at work in professional settings and all these different settings. You have a different persona, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But you want to be with someone that loves you and wants to be with you for who you truly are at your core. Whoever you are when you're alone in your bedroom at midnight and you're like watching your favorite show or listening to your old favorite music and you're dancing, you're singing, or you're making like really funny, really silly jokes, whoever that person is, that's who you need to be in your relationship, and that's who you need to be comfortable being. Because if you don't feel comfortable being completely and wholeheartedly yourself within your relationship, you're never going to feel comfortable, and that's going to be so uncomfortable. And that's how you build up resentment and dislike and disdain for someone. So truly just find someone that you feel okay being yourself around. And it does take some vulnerability to open up like that, but it's going to be so worth it in the end, because you don't want to be with someone who you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel like you can be yourself around. So just making sure that you're doing that from the get-go. And then on top of that, don't lose yourself. I know it can be really hard, especially in the beginning of a relationship, when you have like that honeymoon phase and you're just so excited and you want to be with each other 24/7, and your entire life feels like it revolves around them. But just make sure that you don't lose yourself, right? So this is kind of 2 points, but alone time is okay. So it is okay if you're in a relationship to do things on your own, right? Like, that's totally fine. You are allowed to have your own friends and make plans with your friends and go out to lunch with like your friends, or spend a day with your friends, go on a trip with your friends. You don't have to be together 24/7 for it to be a healthy, loving relationship. What's important is, again, that you have that initial trust that we talked about from the beginning, that you trust each other. I think that having open and like having good communication is really good. So making sure that you're checking in with each other, that you just are making sure that you're still communicating and you're not ghosting each other, because that is really detrimental to a relationship. But it's okay to, be on your own, and it's okay to be like, hey, I really just like need a day to work, or like to do me, or I need like an hour of like, I just want to like sit and like have chill alone time. Like, that is totally fine. We're human, right? Like, people need their alone time. You want space sometimes, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that you don't like the person, that you don't love them. It just means that sometimes you might need some like decompression and alone time, and that's totally fine. And then again, just making sure that you're not losing yourself. You can be dedicated to your relationship and truly invested, as you should be, but just make sure that you're not letting it consume you, and that you are still able to be your own person. You have your own identity. You don't want to revolve your entire life around another person. You still want to be your own person. So making sure that you are still following your passions, and doing hobbies and things that you enjoy doing, watching movies that you like, making sure that you are still doing things that you enjoy doing, and things that help you define and identify with who you truly are at your core. And at the same time, find a partner and find someone that supports you in all of that, right? You don't want to be with someone who isn't supportive of your passions or your hobbies. You want to be with someone who is going to support you, someone who's going to cheer you on, who is going to be your biggest fan, your number one cheerleader. So don't lose yourself. Don't settle for someone who's not going to be supportive of you. And remember that it is okay to take some time for yourself and to just relax. And my last piece of advice is that hard conversations are better than quitting and better than giving up. I think that, everyone wants like the nice, easy, aesthetic part of a relationship, where you have the cute pictures and you go on trips and you just look really cute together, and you have someone to hang out with whenever you want, and you can go on like the nice dinner, you want all of that. But when you're first getting into a relationship, or you are looking at other relationships, you don't really think about all of the hard conversations. People, we're human. Same thing with friendships. This happens with family. This happens with any relationship you're gonna have. We have disagreements and arguments, and you don't agree with every single person on every single thing. My favorite food is not gonna be your favorite food. I might think this is the best movie, you might not agree, or it could be deeper stuff. But I promise you that having the hard conversations and taking the time to, be uncomfortable, hear other people out, and talking it out is so much better than just like not talking about it, pushing it aside, or giving up on the relationship. If it's truly something that you care about, that you want to be a part of, having those conversations. And I think that making sure that you keep those conversations civil and respectful, being respectful and respectable at the same time, respectful or respectable, is also really important. You know, just because you are not on the same page or one of you is upset does not mean that you need to raise your voice or yell. You don't need to get into a screaming match in order to have a conversation or in order to hear each other out. Literally, it takes listening. You know, maybe you just have to like sit quietly, let them share their piece, then you share your piece. And you know, just having that open communication, being civil, having civil conversations, not yelling over one another, or getting mad or just storming away and pushing things aside, because truly having the conversation is going to help you grow and move forward and get stronger in the long run. So yes. And my final tip is truly just to follow and listen to your heart. You know, there is no perfect formula for a perfect relationship. I think that no relationship is perfect, and there's no one way to, or set in stone way to kind of, you know, develop a relationship and have like this perfect ideal relationship. And there's no set way to find your perfect person. You know, it's not a science, it's just life. And so I think that, you know, following your heart, if you find someone you really connect, go for it. Take that leap of faith. Just make sure that you're being honest with them and that you're putting your best foot forward into the relationship, because you want to be with someone that's doing the same, and find someone who truly loves and cares about you for who you are. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening this episode of Elaborate with K, and I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye. And yeah, talk to you next Sunday.